Let's talk about something that sounds completely backwards, but it's happening all around you. The more a man chases, cares, and prioritizes a woman, the more likely she is to lose interest. And yet, when a man pulls back, becomes distant, or even seems emotionally unavailable, suddenly, she's all in. Today's topic is, here's why women only want men who don't value them. And no, that's not just a catchy title. That's the uncomfortable reality a lot of men are waking up to. Welcome to the channel, where we don't sugarcoat the truth and we don't play the nice guy game that gets most men walked all over. Here, we talk real, raw, and respectful, so you can stop getting played and start understanding how attraction actually works. Now I know, this idea sounds messed up. You're thinking, wait, why would a woman not want to be valued? That's the trap. As a man, you're taught to love hard, prove yourself, go above and beyond. And while that might work in theory, in practice, it often backfires. Because modern women aren't responding to kindness or consistency the way men expect. They're addicted to tension, to uncertainty, to the emotional roller coaster that comes from not knowing where they stand. It's not that women consciously want to be disrespected. It's that emotional intensity, even if it's coming from a man who doesn't seem to care, can create a deeper pull than safe, stable affection. That's why guys who do the least often get the most. Why the man who gives her nothing ends up with everything. But there's a way to understand this without becoming cold, manipulative, or fake. That's what we're going to break down today. Section by section, I'll explain why this dynamic exists, how women respond to power and unpredictability, and how you can stop being the guy who gives too much and gets nothing in return. Let's get into it. 1. Women confuse attention with weakness. Here's something most men don't realize. Giving a woman constant attention doesn't make her feel loved. It makes her question your strength. It's a bitter pill to swallow, especially if you were raised to believe that showing interest, being available, and giving a woman your full energy is how you win her over. In reality, the more attention you give a woman, especially too early, the more likely she is to see you as weak, desperate, or lower value. Why? Because women don't just respond to affection, they respond to power. And attention, when it's given too freely, signals that you have nothing better to do. It suggests that she's already the center of your world, before she's even earned that place. This creates a massive imbalance. She starts to think, why is this guy so invested in me already? Doesn't he have options? Doesn't he have a life? What she should see as romantic starts to feel suspicious, or even pathetic. The truth is, when a man gives too much attention without her earning it, it doesn't feel special. It feels weak. And the moment she senses weakness, her attraction starts to fade. Now contrast that with a man who's focused on his goals, his time, and his mission. He's not constantly calling, texting, or trying to impress her. His attention is limited. So when he does give it, it means something. That's what makes her curious, uncertain, and emotionally hooked. Here's how this plays out in real life. A man meets a woman, and they hit it off. He starts texting her good morning every day, replying instantly, complimenting her constantly, and making himself 100% available. At first, she's flattered, but within a week, she starts pulling back. She doesn't reply as fast. She cancels plans. Eventually, she says, "You're a great guy, but something's missing." Now take another man. He meets the same woman, shows interest, but doesn't smother her. He's focused on his own schedule. He responds when it suits him. He's respectful, but not overly eager. Suddenly, she's the one trying to get his attention. She's wondering what he's doing, who he's talking to, and why he's not chasing her. That's the power of controlled attention. You don't win a woman by flooding her with energy. You win by making your energy rare, valuable, and unpredictable. Attention given in small, intentional doses is what keeps her interested. Remember this: if your attention is cheap, your value drops with it. Stop trying to prove how much you like her, and let her feel the difference when a man doesn't put her on a pedestal. 2. Chasing her kills her attraction. Most men ruin their chances with a woman the moment they start chasing her. Not because the woman didn't like them, not because they weren't good enough, but because chasing flips the entire power dynamic. It puts the woman in the position of being pursued, while the man looks like he's trying to win her over. And that's where things start going downhill. Let's be honest. Men chase when they feel like the woman is slipping away. She's not texting as much. She's not as excited. So the guy turns up the pressure. More calls, more compliments, more effort. He thinks if he just does enough, says the right thing, or shows how serious he is, she'll come back around. But here's the truth. The moment you start chasing, she stops being attracted. Why? Because chasing is needy. It tells her, "You're more important than me. I need you to choose me. I'm willing to prove myself for your attention." And nothing turns a woman off faster than a man who starts acting like he needs her to feel okay about himself. Attraction is not about logic. It's about energy. And when you chase, you give off the energy of a man who's not centered, a man who's out of balance, a man who doesn't value himself enough to just sit back and let things come to him. And here's the most frustrating part. The more you chase, the more she pulls away. The more she pulls away, the more you chase. And just like that, you're stuck in a loop where you're doing all the work, and she's doing none of it, because she doesn't have to. You already made her the prize, and deep down, you know when it's happening. You feel it. You sense the shift. You go from having a great back and forth to suddenly questioning if you're being too available. You start wondering why she's not replying. You catch yourself thinking about how to win her back when she hasn't even officially left. That's the moment you've already lost ground, not because she's better than you, but because you handed her the power by chasing. If a woman is into you, you won't need to chase. She'll make herself available. She'll show interest. She'll meet you halfway, and maybe even more. But the second you start chasing, you're no longer a man she respects or desires. You become a man she tolerates or avoids. The solution? Don't chase. Lead. Show interest, then pull back. Let her come to you. If she doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. Women don't lose attraction because you didn't do enough. They lose attraction because you tried too hard. 3. The less you care, the more she obsesses. This is one of the most frustrating things for men to accept, but it's one of the most powerful truths in dating. The moment you stop caring so much, that's when she starts thinking about you more. It sounds cold, right? Almost like you have to play games or pretend not to care. But this isn't about being fake. It's about understanding how women respond to emotional tension. Because when you care too much, especially too soon, there's no mystery, no space, no curiosity, and that kills her desire to pursue you. Think about it. When you're constantly available, constantly responding, constantly showing interest, there's no friction. She already knows she has you. And the moment she knows she has you, she stops thinking about you. Not because you're not a good guy, but because there's no emotional spark left to keep her mind engaged. On the flip side, when a man is calm, focused on himself, not easily shaken by her moods or her silence, she starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Did I do something wrong? Is he seeing someone else? Her mind begins to fill in the blanks, and that's where obsession starts. Women are emotional by nature. What drives them isn't just logic. It's feeling. And when a man pulls back or doesn't respond the way she expects, it stirs something in her. It makes her curious, anxious, even competitive. That's when she starts replaying conversations in her head, checking your socials, waiting on your reply. Not because you manipulated her, but because you gave her space to miss you. But here's the trap most men fall into. The moment she starts showing signs of interest again, they go back to caring too much. They get excited, overinvest, and try to lock things in. And the cycle repeats. Her attraction drops again, and he's back to square one. The key is balance. You don't need to be cold or distant to get her attention, but you do need to stop over-prioritizing her. When a man is grounded in himself, when he cares, but doesn't need her, that's when women get hooked. That's when they start chasing you. And here's what every man has felt at some point. You cared so much, you lost yourself. You ignored the red flags. You made excuses for her. You stayed longer than you should have, hoping she'd appreciate your effort. But she didn't. Because the more you cared, the less value she saw in it. So stop trying to prove yourself. Care less about the outcome. Care more about your peace, your time, your energy. When you stop needing her to like you, she starts needing your attention just to feel okay. 4. Kindness without challenge bores. Her every man has been told, just be nice, be a good guy, treat her right, and she'll choose you. And a lot of men follow that advice with the best intentions. They go out of their way to be respectful, supportive, and emotionally available. But time and time again, they end up confused, rejected, or friend-zoned. And they can't figure out why. Here's the truth no one tells you. Kindness alone doesn't keep a woman interested. In fact, kindness without any challenge actually bores her. This doesn't mean you should be rude, cold, or disrespectful. It means that women need to feel something more than just safety. They need to feel excitement, unpredictability, and emotional stimulation. And when a man is overly kind, without creating any tension, she feels no pull, because there's no spark. Too many guys mistake kindness for connection. They think, if I never disagree with her, never tease her, never set boundaries, she'll see that I'm different from other guys. And she does, but not in the way you hoped. She sees you as agreeable, predictable, easy. A guy she can count on for favors, but not someone she feels compelled to chase or be intimate with. The hard truth is, attraction isn't built through comfort alone. It's built through contrast. A man can be kind, but if there's no edge, no standards, no depth, she gets restless. She starts to feel like she's in control, and when a woman feels too in control, her attraction naturally fades. You've probably been in that spot before. You were doing everything right, saying all the sweet things, always available, never pushed back, and still, she grew distant. Or worse, she told you she just doesn't feel it. And you're left wondering how being a good guy made you invisible. The truth is, women test for strength, not just sweetness. They want to know if you can challenge them, hold your ground, and not fold under pressure. When you're nothing but kind, you don't activate any emotional response in her. You don't stand out. You don't disrupt her mind. You just feel safe. And safety without passion is just friendship. Women don't fall for men because they're nice. They fall for men who make them feel. And part of that feeling comes from a little unpredictability, a little pushback, a little resistance. Not to hurt her, but to show her that you have a backbone, that you're not here to be a doormat. So yes, be kind, but don't be soft. Don't be so focused on pleasing her that you forget to challenge her. Because when there's no challenge, there's no chase. And without the chase, she checks out. 5. Women equates unavailability with high value. One of the biggest secrets in dating is this: the more unavailable you are, the more valuable she believes you are. That's not manipulation. That's human psychology, especially when it comes to attraction. Women are drawn to what feels rare. And when a man is too accessible, always around, always responding, always trying to make time, she doesn't see it as romantic. She sees it as ordinary, expected, easy to get. And as soon as something feels too easy, it loses its shine. On the other hand, when a man is hard to reach, focused on his own priorities, and not emotionally available at the snap of a finger, she starts seeing him differently. He becomes intriguing. She starts thinking, what's he doing? Who's he with? Why isn't he chasing me like the others? And that curiosity turns into desire. Unavailability sends a powerful message. My time is valuable. My attention is limited. I'm not just giving it away. And that energy is what women find magnetic. It communicates that you have things going on, that you're not just sitting around waiting for her to call. Now let's make this real. Think about the last time you texted a woman and she took hours to reply, or didn't respond at all? What happened in your mind? You probably thought about her more. You wondered what she was doing. You checked your phone repeatedly. You even felt a little anxious. That space she created, whether intentional or not, increased her value in your eyes. Now flip that around. You're the guy who isn't always available. You don't drop everything for her. You don't respond instantly. You're polite, but detached. She starts feeling that same energy. She starts wondering what makes you so confident, so occupied, so detached. And that's where attraction grows. This doesn't mean you ghost her or play games. It means you don't put her above your own schedule. You respond when it makes sense. You engage when it works for you. You're not cold. You're just not over-invested. Women respect men who have something going on, whether it's work, goals, a purpose, anything that shows her that your life doesn't revolve around her. That's what makes you stand out from the guys who send 3 texts in a row or sit by the phone hoping for a response. So remember, your value is tied to your presence. The less available you are, the more she sees you as someone worth chasing. Not because you're pretending to be high value, but because you actually are. And high-value men don't make themselves easy to get. 6. Validation makes you replaceable. Every man has had that moment where he thought, if I just tell her how amazing she is, she'll finally see how serious I am. So he compliments her constantly, reassures her every chance he gets, and makes sure she knows she's everything to him. But instead of drawing her closer, she starts pulling away. And he's left wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is simple. Too much validation makes you forgettable. Worse, it makes you replaceable. When you constantly validate a woman, telling her she's beautiful, telling her you like her, checking in, always affirming her, you strip away the one thing that makes you stand out, your mystery. You make it clear that you've already decided she's worth everything, without requiring her to invest or prove anything back. And once that imbalance is created, attraction begins to fade. Women are drawn to what they feel they have to earn. When a man holds back his approval, when he's selective with his praise, it means something. But when a man is handing out compliments left and right, it stops feeling special. It starts to sound like noise, the same noise she's heard from every guy who tried too hard. And here's where it hits home. When you give constant validation, it tells her you're not used to women like her. It tells her you're trying to impress her, instead of naturally letting her be impressed by you. That changes the entire frame. You become just another guy hoping for attention, instead of the man who commands it. It also sets the tone that you're seeking approval, not offering it. And that's where most men slip. They don't realize they're putting her on a pedestal. They think they're just being nice, just being clear. But to her, it feels like desperation. And that's a major turnoff. You don't build value by pouring compliments into a woman. You build it by making her earn your respect and your attention. Not in a controlling way, but in a way that says, I don't give myself to just anyone. That's what creates curiosity. That's what builds tension. That's what keeps her interested. The men who win aren't the ones giving the most validation. They're the ones who give it rarely, and only when it's truly deserved. Because when a woman has to work for a man's approval, she values it, she respects it, and she starts seeing him as someone who's not just different, but desirable. Stop trying to validate your way into her heart. Hold your frame, protect your value, and make her feel what every woman craves, the thrill of having to earn a man who doesn't hand himself out to just anyone. 7. Power dynamics. Decide everything. If you don't understand power in relationships, you'll always be confused by women's behavior. You'll keep asking yourself why she lost interest, why she treats you differently, why she runs after men who don't treat her half as well as you do. And the answer is right in front of you. You gave up your power. Most men do this without even realizing it. They enter a relationship hoping to impress, hoping to be chosen, hoping to finally be enough for a woman. From day one, they operate from a place of insecurity. They put her on a pedestal, walk on eggshells, avoid conflict, and tiptoe around her emotions. And then they wonder why she doesn't respect them. You need to wake up. You're not supposed to beg to be seen. You're supposed to stand firm in who you are and make her meet you at your level. Relationships are not about pleasing a woman to keep her interested. They're about maintaining balance. And the man who controls the emotional power in the dynamic usually controls the direction of the relationship. Now here's the part most men won't want to hear. If she has the power, it's because you gave it to her. You stopped leading, you stopped prioritizing yourself, you started asking for permission instead of setting the tone. That's not love, that's submission. And no matter how good your intentions are, women don't stay attracted to men who abandon their power. The man she truly desires is the one who leads with calm authority. He doesn't force control, he doesn't manipulate, he simply owns his frame. He decides what's acceptable in his life. He knows his value, and he doesn't compromise it just to keep her around. That's the man she can't ignore, because he commands respect by being rooted in himself. If you're constantly confused, constantly chasing, constantly reacting to what she does, you're not in control. She is. And that's why things keep going wrong. Men need to stop believing that love means giving up power. It doesn't. Love without power is weakness. Power without love is cruelty. But when you bring both together, strength with intention, leadership with care, that's when you become the man no woman can forget. You have to stop handing over control. Stop being afraid to walk away. Stop thinking she's the prize just because she's pretty or giving you attention. You are the prize when you act like it. And that begins when you understand the game is not about chasing, proving, or pleasing. It's about power. Hold yours. Here's what most men don't want to admit, and most women will never say out loud. The moment you start valuing her more than yourself, she starts losing interest. That one truth alone has ended more relationships than cheating ever has. And yet, men keep repeating the same cycle, chasing, validating, overgiving, all while thinking it's what women truly want. It's not. Women don't want a man who puts them first. They want a man who puts himself first, and then chooses her from a place of strength. You weren't born to be a background character in your own story. You weren't made to revolve around a woman's emotions, her schedule, or her approval. You were made to lead, to hold your frame, and to offer value, not beg for it. And if anything in this video hit you, even just one line that made you pause, then don't just scroll away. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Tell me where you've seen this play out in your life. Whether you've been the guy chasing or the one who finally woke up, your story matters. And I'll be in the comments reading everything, replying, and connecting with those of you who are ready to level up. This channel is here for men who are done playing small. So if that's you, I've got your back. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and never hand your power away again.